Hello students, today we are going to study the second chapter of your book First Flight. Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. The Long Walk to Freedom is name of Nelson Mandela's autobiography. And who is Nelson Mandela? Nelson Mandela was South Africa's first black president. Okay, and he struggled a lot like Gandhiji struggled for Indian freedom. In the same way, he also fought and struggled a lot for the freedom of South Africa. Let's begin. The writer is Nelson Mandela himself. His full name is Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. So let's talk about it. Before you read, apartheid is a political system. Apartheid means रंग भेद की नीति, color or caste discrimination, is a political system that separates people according to their race. उनको अपनी प्रजाति अपने कलर के अकॉर्डिंग that separates this system, and this was prevailed in South Africa. Can you say which of three countries named below had such a political system until very recently? And you have to guess, and South Africa is the correct answer here. Have you heard of Nelson Mandela? Mandela and his African National Congress spent a lifetime fighting against apartheid. Mandela had to spend 30 years. You will have to underline if you have book. Had to spend 30 years in prison. This you have to keep in mind. And then after 30 years, finally democratic elections were held in South Africa in 1994. And Mandela became the first black president of a new nation. This is the background of this book, Long Walk to Freedom. Because he was a freedom fighter, so he wrote his autobiography, and this chapter is an extract of his autobiography. Okay, so he spent 30 years in prison for that struggle for that freedom, and after 30 years the elections were held in 1994, means recently. Okay, and he became the first black president of this new nation, South Africa. In this extract from his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom, Mandela speaks about a historical occasion, the inauguration, means when they got independence. So, the inauguration ceremony was held there. Can you guess what the occasion might be? Check your guess with this news item from BBC of 10th May 1994. Okay, so here is the news from BBC. This is the news item from BBC, and heading is Mandela becomes South Africa's first black president. Okay. Nelson Mandela has become South Africa's first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule. White here means British. Okay, as British ruled for 200 years in India, in the same way for 300 years, means 3 centuries, they ruled in South Africa. Okay, so after 3 centuries, means 300 years, South Africa got freedom of white rule. Mr. Mandela's African National Congress, in short ANC, party won 252 of the 400 seats in the first democratic elections of South Africa's history. Means his party got 252 seats in the first democratic elections, and his party won, and then he became the first president. The inauguration ceremony took place in the Union Building Amphitheatre in Pretoria today. Now, amphitheatre. Amphitheatre is a building without a roof with many rows of seats rising in steps, particularly in Greece, ancient Greece and Rome. Means we can say a kind of open stadium, okay, where the people sit on the seats, or the rows of seats are there. Open stadium जो होता है, a kind of open stadium. Okay, so that was amphitheater, and the entire thing, that inauguration ceremony, that took place in the Union Buildings Amphitheater in Pretoria today. Pretoria is the name of place, attended by politicians and dignitaries from more than 140 countries around the world. Means from all over the world, the dignitaries means सम्मानित लोग, ऊंचे जो पदाधिकारी, they witnessed the ceremony. Never again will this beautiful land experience the oppressions of one by another, said Nelson Mandela in his address. And when the president addressed, Nelson Mandela addressed, so these were his words, that never again will this beautiful land experience the oppression, means दबाव, अत्याचार, मीन्स अब किसी तरह से जो कंट्री है साउथ अफ्रीका, किसी तरह से किसी के दबाव में, किसी के गुलाम, जो स्लेव्स बन के नहीं रहेगी. That was said by Nelson Mandela in his address. Jubilant means happy. Scenes on the streets of Pretoria followed the ceremony with blacks, whites, and colored celebrating together. Means many people were there and they all celebrated this day. More than 1 lakh South African men, women, and children of all races sang and danced with joy. Means they all celebrated this day with joy. Now the chapter starts. 10th May, dawn bright and clear. Dawn means started. Exactly, dawn means early morning. Okay, so 10th May was this day and it started bright and clear. It was very bright and clear. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged by. The meaning is written here at the side of the text. To be surrounded by, surrounded closely by. So besieged by dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respect before the inauguration. Now, he says that for the past many years, many days, I have been surrounded closely by many of the dignitaries, world leaders who were coming to pay their respect, okay, because we got freedom. So they were sending their good wishes, they were wishing me. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South African soil. Means before that, no such gathering was held before this inauguration or before this day. means this was the first chance, first occasion when such largest gathering of leaders on South African soil was held. Next paragraph. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater. Amphitheater, again, the meaning is written, a building without a roof with many rows of seats rising in steps, typical of ancient Greece and Rome. Means earlier ancient Greece and Rome में इस तरह की बिल्डिंग्स हुआ करती थी, ओपन थिएटर जिसे हम कह सकते हैं, formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria for decades. Decades means one decade means 10 years of the time of 10 years, decade, जिसे हम हिंदी में दशक कहते हैं. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy. Means earlier it was used by the officers of Britain. White here means for English people or Britain. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the site of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations for the installation of South Africa's first democratic non racial government. Now, earlier it was used by those people, but now it is full of color, means people have gathered here, and now it is looking so colorful. On that lovely autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Chenani. So, this 10th May is an autumn day because, as we know, South Africa is in southern hemisphere. So, May falls in autumn season. So, 10th May is an autumn day here. He says, I was accompanied, means he was with his daughter, or we can say daughter was with him. And what was the name of his daughter? Janani. On the podium, means on that stage, Mr. De Klerk was first sworn in as second deputy president. Means he took an oath. Sworn means swear की second form है sworn, second and third form. So Mr. De Klerk was the first one who took that oath as second deputy president. Then Thabo Mbeki was sworn in as first deputy president. So the second one who took that oath was Thabo Mbeki, and he took an oath, or he was sworn in as the first deputy president. Then when it was my turn, my here means for Nelson Mandela, I pledged to obey, obey means to follow and uphold the constitution. Uphold means to protect, to follow the constitution, and to devote myself to the well-being of the republic and its people. Means he took an oath for his true services, follow the constitution, and devote his entire life for the well-being of the republic and its people. Means South Africa, the country and its people. To the assembled guests and the watching world, I said. Now what he said, or this is the extract of his speech, means what he said in his speech. Today all of us do by our presence here confer. Confer means a formal word. Here give or pay glory and hope to newborn liberty. Newborn liberty is used for South Africa. Okay, so he says that all of us gathered here to pay our glory, hope to newborn liberty, pay our respect to this liberty, or to celebrate this day out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long. Extraordinary human disaster here means, what was the human disaster there? That they were slaves for almost 3 centuries. Okay, English people ruled there. So, and first of all, at the very beginning of the chapter, the word apartheid is written. Okay, so these were the problems there. So he says, out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long, means इतने सालों से जो हम human disasters को जो face कर रहे थे, that must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. And after that, such society, such must be born. People must be born means such thoughts must be born, or such society must be born out of all these things, on which all humanity will be proud. पूरी जो ह्यूमैनिटी, पूरी मानव जाति जो है, वो उन पे प्राउड करेगी. We who were outlaws not so long ago. Outlaws means illegal होना, अलग होना, सेपरेट होना या अलग कर देना. Here answer meaning is written, we who were outlaws because of its policy of apartheid. Many countries had earlier broken off diplomatic relations with South Africa. Why were they outlaw? Because of the apartheid. वहाँ पे apartheid की जो प्रॉब्लम थी, रंग भेद की जो प्रॉब्लम थी, तो काफ़ी सारी कंट्रीज़ ने उनको, उनसे जो अपने रिलेशंस जो थे, डिप्लोमेटिक जो रिलेशंस थे, वो तोड़ दिए थे. वो बिल्कुल अलग हो गया था अपार्थाइड की प्रॉब्लम की वजह से. सो दे वर, वी हु वर आउटलॉज नॉट सो लॉन्ग अगो मीन्स रिसेंटली वी हैव बीन, और वी वर outlaws, have today been given the rare privilege to be host to the nations of the world on our own soil. But today we are hosting, means today the leaders of the whole world have gathered here. So this is the privilege of South Africa. We thank all of our distinguished international guests for having come to take possessions with the people of our country of what is, after all, a common victory for justice, for peace, and for human dignity. He says he thanked all the guests, and he says that this is not the victory of a particular party, a particular person. This is a common victory for justice, for peace, and for human dignity. Further, he says, we have at last achieved our political emancipation. Emancipation means freedom from restrictions. He says, now we have got the freedom, we have become free from all restrictions. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination. Means we are liberal, we are free from all such kind of poverty, deprivation means जो जरूरतमंद, or a state of not having one's rightful benefits, जिसे हम कहते हैं वंचित, वंचित लोग होना. Suffering, gender, and other discrimination means now we are free from all kind of such discrimination. Okay, and what is the meaning of discrimination? Being treated differently or unfavorably, भेदभाव करना. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. Means such kind of discrimination, oppression, दबाव, अत्याचार, that will happen in this country now. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. Reign means here rule. God bless Africa means now. That was the end of his speech.